These two things about yourself are important for seniors to know, even if their children are very responsible. Loss of mental and physical sharpness comes with getting older. This can show up in many ways that make daily life harder for people. Even the kindest and most loving kids might not be able to fully understand how big these changes are. Seniors should be very clear about who they are, what they need, and what they can't do. Before we begin, I'd love for you to stay until the end of this video. There's a gentle, encouraging tip waiting there that could help you feel a bit lighter, a bit more energized. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you're always part of our growing circle. And if you're watching, say hi by writing, "I'm still becoming." Just a few words can carry a world of meaning. Now let's begin. No matter how responsible a child is, they need to know these two things about themselves well as an adult. The lives of older people change very slowly. In their old age, the love and care they get from their children will always bring them comfort and happiness. People over 65 should be careful, especially in these two places, even though it's warm. First, you shouldn't say no to what the kids want. For all of her life, Chow Lily has been a very good daughter to her parents. The fact that she never questions her mother's right to take care of her needs shows how much she loves her. Lily Chow goes out of her way to make her mother feel better. Her only wish is for her mom to live a happy, carefree life. Her mother shows the normal loss of strength and speed that comes with getting older. Because of her busy work schedule, Chow Lily can't care for her mother around the clock, which makes her very worried about her health. Chow Lily was smart to get her mother some help from a caregiver when she saw the opportunity coming. After a long search, she finally found the kind and hard-working woman, and now she goes to the house every day. In order to take care of her mother, she has to clean, cook healthy meals, and keep her living space nice and clean. Even though Chow Lily tried very hard, the arrangement has not made her mother's life any better. She thinks that the caregiver's presence is a luxury that Chow Lily doesn't need, and that her money would be better spent somewhere else. Plus, her mom is afraid that the caretaker is not reliable and might hurt her or steal from her. This is why she doesn't like the caregiver's job so much and often acts cold and rude to show her disapproval. How Chow Lily felt when she learned that her mother was being rude to the caregiver was terrible. She didn't understand why her mother couldn't see how much she loved her. Chow Lily tried to reassure her mother and explain her point of view, but her mother wouldn't listen and didn't understand. When Chow Lily's mom got home from a very stressful day at work one evening, she was crying on the couch. When she was asked why she was being so impatient, she got very angry and said, "Why are you wasting money on a caregiver for me? I'm not helpless because I'm strong enough to handle things on my own. Why do I make you feel so bad?" The mean things her mother said broke Chow Lily's heart. She spoke up right away and told her mother, "Don't turn me off. All I want to do is make your life a little easier by taking away some of your problems. Because of my job, I can't spend as much time with you as you'd like. There is no doubt that hiring a caregiver to watch over you would be the smartest thing to do." No matter what, her mom insisted that she didn't need the caregiver and that she could handle everything herself. Feeling helpless and in a lot of pain, Chow Lily watched her mother cry and knew that her mother would not give in. She had a hard time finding the right words to show how much she cared and loved them. As you move through life, you take on new responsibilities and face new challenges. When we were younger, our main goal might have been to raise the next generation so they could live happy, full lives as adults. As time goes on, kids grow up and form their own ideas, plans, and ways of taking care of others. In this situation, it's important to accept and support their choices, since they were likely made with a lot of thought and care. It is very important to have an open and respectful conversation about any concerns about the proposed arrangements. Clear communication helps everyone understand each other and set goals, which leads to a better family relationship overall. As parents, Recognizing and appreciating our kids' efforts to care for us not only makes the environment more supportive, but it also makes family bonds stronger. Seeing things from this point of view helps us build relationships based on love and warmth, which makes our lives happier and more peaceful. Please leave the first comment below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me and that you think these lessons are helpful. Second, don't get involved in the kids' home life. A young married couple lived in a quiet, close-knit neighborhood. They were excited about their future together. One night, though, a loud argument broke up their peace, and it could be heard throughout the apartment. I looked downstairs and heard bits of their conversation because I was interested and worried. The man was angry, and his voice got rough as he asked, "What does your mother mean when she says I'm incapable? Didn't I treat you well? Most people my age don't make as much as I do. What else does she need?" He tried to calm down, and his wife, Xiaoya, said, "Dear, don't let what my mother said get to you. She has a mean temper but a kind heart. Don't let this ruin our evening." With her reassurance, the man reluctantly calmed down, and the two of them went home together. The next day, everyone in the neighborhood heard about Xiaoya's new purchase. It had been a while since Xiaoya looked at a new car. Her old car, which had been good to her for a long time, was getting old. She thought it was time for a change. But they were having trouble with money, so she borrowed 20,000 yuan from her mother. Even though her mother agreed to help, as soon as the money was given to her, she started to complain about Xiaoya's husband. She told him he was bad because, as the man of the house, he should be able to take care of his family and not need money from his wife's mother. This criticism made Xiaoya's husband very upset because he felt unappreciated and unfairly criticized. Xiaoya was also upset that her mother had stepped in. She knew that her mother was trying to help because she was worried, but she thought that her mother's involvement had gone too far. Xiaoya decided that night that it was time to have an honest talk with her mother. She told her mother how much she appreciated her help and support, but she also made it clear that she needed to be left alone. She said that the choice to borrow money for the car wasn't a reflection of how good her husband was with money, but rather a matter of planning ahead. They didn't want to lose interest on their fixed deposit savings. Her mother just listened, knowing that her interference, even though she meant well, might have done more harm than good. She truly apologized to both Xiaoya and her son-in-law when she realized that what she had done had upset her daughter. In the future, she promised to be more aware of and respectful of their choices, and to stay out of their business. Being more involved in their children's lives is something that many older people do as they transition from working full-time to being married and having children. A lot of the time, they really want to guide their kids and keep them from making mistakes. But older people need to change how they are involved in their kids' lives and know when to step back. Kids who are adults have their own lives, choices and likes, and they should be able to make their own decisions. Seniors often find that their own lives get better and more fulfilling when they don't get involved. Once you retire, you can start doing things you used to enjoy, like painting, playing music, or traveling. Doing these things can make you happy and help you stay young-spirited. Taking part in social activities and making new friends can also help you meet new people and give you a sense of purpose and connection. You can still care about kids, even if you don't get involved in their lives. When kids ask for help or advice, it's important to give it to them in a positive way. But seniors should respect their independence and let them grow and explore alone when they don't need help. Overall, even if your kids are very devoted and grateful, older people should become more self-aware and learn the following rules to make sure they have a happy and fulfilling later life. Please leave a second comment below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me and that you think these lessons are helpful. First, don't live with your kids. The older we get, the more we need to realize that living with our kids, even if they are loving and devoted, might not always be the best option. If we think that living together is perfect just because our kids are kind and considerate, we might not see the difficulties that come up because of differences between generations. There are many ways that these differences can show up, such as different eating habits, lifestyles, and daily routines, which can cause problems and misunderstandings. The difference between generations often means that people have different habits and expectations that don't always match up perfectly. For example, our adult children may have very different ideas about how to live, what to eat, and even what routines to follow. These differences could cause arguments or discomfort, which could hurt family relationships and make it harder for people to get along. It is often best for older people to stay independent so that their living situation is more peaceful and balanced. Living apart based on personal preferences lets each person enjoy their own space and freedom, which makes it less likely that arguments will happen and encourages a more peaceful relationship. Being apart can make things calmer and less tense, so that everyone can stick to their own routines and lifestyle choices without bothering the others. If older people choose to live alone, they can avoid the problems that can come up with living with other people, which could cause relationships to become tense. It's better to think about these things ahead of time than to wait for problems to get worse. Keeping your independence in old age is good for your own health and helps keep the peace in your family by making sure that interactions stay positive and helpful. 2. Don't get involved in your kids' home life. Just because your kids are good Catholics doesn't mean you can meddle in their private lives. As kids grow up and become adults, they form their own opinions, preferences, and ways of running their homes. It's important to let them be independent and understand that they have their own ways of dealing with family issues. Even if you mean well, getting involved in their personal life can hurt their relationships and make them feel less independent. Their way of life, including choices about money, style, and even how to raise their children, is part of their journey. They will handle these parts of their lives in ways that make sense for them based on their values and the facts of their lives. Accept that their path might be different from the one you planned or followed. For example, you shouldn't get involved in the education or care of your grandchildren unless they ask you to. Kids today often start doing a lot of planned activities at a very young age, which is very different from how kids used to be raised, when things were more laid back. This change shows how societal expectations and norms have changed. Even though the things you learned and did in the past are still useful, they might not always work in this situation. Instead of trying to force your way of thinking on someone, support and encourage them from afar. Let your kids take care of their own chores and make their own choices. Have faith that they will find their way and deal with the good and bad things that come their way. You can respect their independence and make your own life better by letting go of the need to control or get involved in small things. Take advantage of the chances to do the things and interests that interest you. You will find happiness in your personal growth and experiences. A healthier and more peaceful family life is created when you respect your kids' choices and stay out of their personal matters. In the end, this approach will lead to better, more supportive relationships where everyone in the family can do well in their own way. Third, don't make your kids pay you money. As you age, it's best not to ask your kids for money, even if they want to help. Even the most loving kids may feel they must help, even if they're not ready. It is very important to know that your savings and investments, not your children's money, should support your retirement. If you don't have a lot of money saved for retirement, you might want to look into ways to work while you are still healthy. Working keeps you active and engaged, and it can also earn you extra cash. By taking this proactive step, you can make your financial situation much better and make your retirement more secure. By taking care of your own money and not putting too much pressure on your kids, You are respecting their financial boundaries and understanding that many of them may come from working-class families that have money problems. This thoughtful approach makes sure that you aren't putting too much stress on their resources and also helps the family get along better. 4. Do not invest without thinking. When you're getting older, it's important to be careful with investments and not make hasty choices. Potentially, high returns can be very appealing, especially if you have seen other people make money from their investments. But if you didn't have a lot of experience or success with investments when you were younger, you should be extra careful about putting your retirement savings into investments that you don't understand. Even though the stock market can help you make money, it is also very risky and often goes up and down. Because investing is hard to understand, and there are a lot of unknowns. People can lose a lot of money, which can be especially bad for older people. Older investors may not have the financial freedom or time to recover from setbacks like younger investors do. When people invest badly, it can be even worse because they are counting on their retirement funds to give them stability and security for the rest of their lives. Also, losing money can have effects that go beyond the person who loses it, possibly adding to the stress on family members. Kids who are adults and may already be taking care of their own money issues may find themselves in the awkward position of having to fix their parents' bad money decisions. This can put a strain on family relationships because kids might not want to criticize their parents' choices, but will have more responsibilities as a result. In old age, you should stay away from speculative or high-risk investments to protect your finances and avoid stress that isn't necessary. You might want to focus on safer options instead, like keeping your money in a bank account or investing in stable, low-risk financial products. By taking this approach, you can help keep your savings safe and easy to get to, giving you the peace of mind you need in retirement. Please leave the 4th comment below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me and that you think these lessons are helpful. 5. Don't travel too much. People over the age of 70, especially those who have long-term illnesses, need to be extra careful when they travel. It's not a good idea to travel too often, even if your kids are excited about planning trips or encouraging you to see new places. As we get older, our health problems may get more complicated, and the risks that come with traveling, like changes in the weather, different healthcare standards, and sudden health emergencies, tend to rise. You should weigh the fun of traveling against these possible risks. It's becoming more and more important to put safety and well-being first. For people with chronic illnesses, traveling a lot can make their health problems worse and add to their stress and tiredness. Keeping their routine stable and consistent is often very important for managing their condition well. Think about whether each trip fits with your health needs and comfort. It might be smarter to focus on local trips or shorter trips that won't put too much stress on your body. If you have to travel, make sure you are well prepared, have all of your medications, know what medical services are available at your destination, and plan to rest and recover properly. 6th, don't turn down kids' good intentions. Being cared for and watched over by children is a real blessing as you get older. It's better to accept their efforts and good intentions than to turn them down. For example, if your kids make sure you have regular checkups or medical appointments, see it as a sign that they love you and care about your health. The goal of these checkups is to find and treat minor health problems before they get worse, which will lead to better health and extra years of life. Your acceptance of these actions gives you access to preventive care, which can be very helpful in keeping your health in good shape. It also builds a good relationship with your kids by showing that you care about them and are willing to work together for the good of both of you. In conclusion, it's important to stay independent and take care of your own business. But it's also important to accept your children's good intentions if you want to live a happy and peaceful life. You can keep your independence, feel at ease, and build a loving, balanced relationship with your family if you don't live with your kids, get involved in their problems, demand money, make risky investments, or travel too much. If you need to, limit your travel and accept their good intentions. You will lead a happy and fulfilling later life if you adopt this strategy. We're grateful you spent this time with us. If you felt even a bit inspired, we warmly welcome you to subscribe and tap the bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Your presence matters. Here's something magical. Share your age in the comments. By doing so, you're telling the universe, I'm here, I'm growing, and I'm ready for more life. It's a small act with powerful energy. Take care, stay hopeful, and remember, your journey still has so much to offer.